Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Are you getting a little bit of deja vu and thinking you might have seen this card before? That's because I think I've showed it to you on 2 sneak peeks, and I think it's time that we actually made it. And I'll show you a little bit about how to use these butterfly Framelits dies, which coordinate with the Butterfly Basic stamp set, which is just totally my favourite at the moment, which is another reason you keep seeing it. Okay, so we're going to start off, we're going to do a different colourway. I like to do this and change up. Did this in my last video and I enjoyed doing that, so we're going to do that again. So I'm going to use a pink pirouette base card. This is half a piece of A4, folded in half and scored at 10.5 centimetres. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White. This is about 3 3/4 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to start off by stamping on there. And I'm going to stamp with the crumb cake and this lovely fern image. A little bit of paper over here. And just stamp. Just have some random bits of fern going on. Can't have too much of that stamp as far as I'm concerned, it's just beautiful. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and do the butterfly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the butterfly on a piece of Whisper White card and use the thin lips, and I'm using the largest one. We have got a medium-sized one as well, and the little one that matches the butterfly that's in the set. So this will just go this way. So I'll just bring in my big shot and we'll go ahead and cut that. I have a little piece here of, this is like baking parchment. If you can get wax paper, that works as well. And it just helps getting these bits out. I'm not going to say I use this every time, because honestly I'm not having a problem getting mine out. But so many people have said they really find it helps. I thought I would just share that with you today. I am, however, using a couple of shims on my, which is a couple of pieces of paper underneath this particular framelit. Just to make sure I get all of those tiny weeny little bits. So my big shot is getting on a little bit now and takes a lot of use, as you may imagine. So here's my butterfly, and it came off the backing sheet before I'd pressed record, but you see it comes off so easily. But actually look, doesn't that look amazing? So if you are going to use baking parchment, you simply have to have some ideas of what you're going to use. If you do use actual wax paper, there's actually a technique that you can do where you can iron this on a cool iron between 2 pieces of Whisper White. It'll leave a wax impression on there. Take this away and then ink over the top, and it's like an emboss resist technique. So if you've got actual wax paper, please do that. But if you haven't, you've just got to use that because it's just too gorgeous not to. Okay, so we have got lots of little bits here to remove, and you can use either a pricking tool, or I quite like using a scoring tool, just because I then don't poke my finger too hard. So it's a little bit of a safer option. If you're not using the wax paper or the baking parchment, you might need to poke the little release holes. Let me show you those. So these little tiny holes here, you might need to press those to actually release the butterfly, and then you would need a pricking tool because this one is too big to go through those holes. So you would need a pricking tool or something similar, and then you just peel it off the back. And I have to say that is what I'm mostly doing. I've not had any trouble cutting these out. Just going to go ahead and get these pieces out. Well, that's just taken me a moment to remove all those, but it's certainly worth the effort to get such a beautiful butterfly. And I'm just going to scoot those bits straight into my bin. Okay, so let's get a little piece of scrap paper back in again. and we're going to do some colouring. Now, lots of different ways you could do this. You could do it with stamping sponges. You could do it with a spritzer if you like using a spritzer. But I'm going to use a brayer today. And I'm going to start off by brayering over in Pink Pirouette, which is our palest one. Look, I missed one. I can just see it now. Now I've put the ink on. There we go. So I'm just going over right over the middle with the palest colour. Then I'm going to do a little bit of Blushing Bride. And I'm not going to go right into the middle with this. I'm going to just sort of do the wings a little bit here. Let's try and get it roughly even on both sides. Doesn't really matter. But, and then finally, with the darkest colour is Calypso Coral. And I'm just, as you can see, I'm just inking up just those very edge bits. And just going over the edges. And then you can kind of blend back in. Be careful not to get your brayer underneath those little ends. That can happen. You don't want to flick those up. So, just a little bit of blending with your brayer. Do you like that? I love that. I think that's a really nice colour combination. So let me tell you what that was again. That was Pink Pirouette, Blushing Bride and Calypso Coral. And if you find another lovely combination that works with that technique, do share it. I would love to tell everybody what you found. Okay, so we're just going to layer this up. Now, what I did with this one is I actually wanted that to be a bit bolder, to actually have the body a little bit bolder. I'm going to try that with a paler colour on here because I don't want to go quite so heavy as I did last time. So I'm using Sahara Sand and I'm just colouring in with a marker. I think that's quite heavy enough. So that is a very pale colour, Sahara Sand I've gone for. You could maybe go with Smoky Slate, but even that might be a bit dark. But that's fine, the Sahara Sand is fine for me. So let's just glue that on. Now you could pop this up with dimensionals, but what I quite liked is having the butterfly kind of almost flying off the page, so I gave it a little fold on the wings. And I know that'll get flattened down in the envelope, but this would be almost worth making a box for, wouldn't it? And I'm just going to lay my butterfly down there, and then the other bit it needs is some little antennae. Now I might have to draw these in the darker colour. So this one I'm going for is soft suede. So I've given it some little soft suede antennae there. It just finishes it off for me. We have got some stamps that have got the antennae on if you prefer to do a stamp. And I think today, crash, 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 they're sending wishes your way in this same stamp set. But there's also this, and it says, there is nothing in the caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. And I think that's a lovely greeting. And it's a lovely thing it's a lovely saying, I think, rather than greeting. And so I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to do that in Blushing Bride. Just pop that down there in the corner. There you go. So I hope you've enjoyed your visit today to Elizabeth's craft room. Keep telling me what colours you're doing your fantastic butterflies in, because they are just so amazing. I have more butterfly projects to come, of course, because I'm just loving these so much. But do pop back to Elizabeth's craft room. Every Saturday there are projects on my blog, and then every Tuesday, as you probably know, I also have a video. So pop back and see what else I'm doing. I'm looking forward to sharing some more projects with you soon.